Coach K, the head coach of men's soccer, and I brought this week a special guest with us, Coach Clay.
Very excited, very excited. So good start to the season. Nice to, get into some conference play, start out, 3-0, both teams obviously doing that, so we're kind of, riding each other's coattails and excited about that. Lancaster Bible, I thought we, pulled out the result that we needed to. I think it was 2-1, but, a tighter game than we probably would have liked. Where yesterday against Abington, I thought we really put everything together, kind of found the attack. And really, put the ball in the back of the net. So it was nice to finish some of those chances. The first two games of the MEAC where we were a little tighter, played a little tougher teams, but still didn't finish our chances. So I think we built some confidence that hopefully we can take into Saturday, and most importantly, kind of take into the following week where we see Scranton, who was 1 point top 25, and obviously the big battle against Berks, which will likely be two teams going into it 5-0 if we take care of business on Saturday. That is. Yeah, I think Kristins just really special story, with everything for her, making the return after a season and a half off, give or take. Obviously having a baby, for those of you who don't know. So real excitement, and for her to come back and get this final season, is special. And then obviously to, break the points record and, be one goal away from breaking the full record, or the scoring record, I think is make everybody happy. Although I know for me, I've said for a long time, my biggest thing is going to be seeing that girl graduate. She's worked really hard to, kind of stay focused and get through, and that's really going to be my biggest reward. But to see her have a special season, I think she's capable of this year. I think the team is really appreciating, got behind her, and obviously it's kind of nice having a little mascot too around. We've seen her more than a few times, so it's definitely a special story, and her breaking the record and potentially breaking the scoring record if she can get one more, which obviously we would expect from her. I think is going to make for a real rewarding season.
For us, the start was tough because Lancaster Bible and Penn State Abington were the finals, and that was the conference championship last year. So getting out of the gate with 2 out of 3 of them was a very difficult start. And then you add Penn Tech into that; they were a semifinalist. So 3 teams that we played first were 3 of the final 4 last season. So I thought. It was a difficult start, but I thought we persevered pretty well. We had some injuries, we had, some things we had to fight through, and I thought it was a good start for us. With the Penn Tech game, it was, a little rough to be honest to start, but then Lancaster Bible, I think they're a very good team. Yeah. I really do. I think they play very good football. They're well coached, and I thought we played pretty well that game. To beat a team of their caliber 2-0 and. First off, to hold them off the board is not an easy thing to do. I'm not sure if they'd been shut out more than once before that this whole season. So, with the talented attacking players they have, I thought that was big. And then, for us to get a couple was huge too, And then Abington I knew would be a battle. I mean, they're a very talented team. They've got their returning player of the year who's an extreme talent. They're organized, they fight really hard, they're very physical. David, I think, does a great job of getting them excited and motivated and organized, ready to go, and they press well. So it was certainly, I thought, and I thought for us it was one of our better overall team wins, where everybody from guys that didn't play to being positive with their teammates, to guys that played a lot, to guys that played, a 5 or 10 minute stretch. I thought everybody did a very good job of executing our game plan. I mean, I would like to have a little bit of a breather, to where we get a buffer, like an 8-1 win would have been nice, but that just doesn't seem to be our team's MO this year. We like to keep it tight. They said, if we start blowing teams out, Seth falls asleep at the table. So
true.
We got to keep the score margin closer, let them fall asleep during the women's game. So
yeah, I think that's a good question. I know, like how we took Penn Tech again, we thought we had some other chances to finish, to finish the game multiple times. Had to fight to a double overtime win. It was one of those. It was tough, but I said I think we moved so much further as a team having to battle through that and get the result, as opposed to if we would have maybe scored those chances, won 3 or 4-0 or 3 or 4-1, whatever, had that buffer. So I think as a team, we actually took a much bigger step. And I think kind of moving forward, we, even with how we started the season, I mean, we started out, at one point we were 1-4. Yeah. And we put some tough teams on the schedule. We had to figure ourselves out a little bit. And I think those things are all for the bigger purpose of, the real goal is to, win the MEAC, get a trip to the NCAA tournament. And I think you have to test yourself to do that. So even if a game doesn't quite go the way you want, but you're able to take more out of it, I thought we did for Penn Sack. And again, they fought really hard. I mean, they're a good team. I easily could expect to see them they're going to be in the playoffs, and I could see them, seeding pretty well. So we were happy about that result. But at the same time, I think the fact that we had to fight so hard, come together as a team, we took more out of it than if, maybe things would have all gone well for us. The ball goes in the back of net 3 or 4 times, and you kind of see where you're at. We were very happy because it was nice. I'm pretty good about, if we're ahead, I don't say a word to the referees. Really don't have to yell at too many people, so I like when I can sit and just enjoy the game, and it was nice the girls did that. But I think to Dan's point, also, building up the whole team. It's hard when you're playing 1-goal games consistently, and there's a lot of kids that are just a step away from getting that opportunity. You like what you're seeing in training, but you're not quite sure. So having a position where you've got, a 2-goal buffer that you say, hey, I can test this kid. It's still a good game. It's still realistic, but it's not training. It's kind of the next step, and give those kids those opportunities. For one, just keeping them happy because it's hard to train week in, week out, and stay focused and stay hungry. So I think that's where it was really great. And obviously in a game, we did score 8, but it was 8 different girls. Yeah. So, I think a lot of people left feeling good about themselves and building that confidence, which I think Dan and I have talked about a lot. Testing yourself is one thing, but you got to have that confidence and belief at the end. So you really want to balance it. And I think that games like that will help as we move forward. And honestly, when we go into those games too, we hope that it will turn out the way it did, but you never know because soccer is one of those you can outshoot a team 25-1 and lose that game 1-0. So getting early goals on teams like that, kind of putting them away, where if they feel the life they can go, I think is real important. And but at the same time, we also have a chance to work some things that maybe we can't do against a team that's really high press us. Trying to work it around the back, switch the field to improve us for games that we're going to need to do that against top teams. But we haven't quite got to that level. We're able to practice some things like that, force the issue, and not maybe be quite as direct.
I was going to say, you haven't seen us because we don't feel athletically superior to anybody. I mean, we're in 1-goal games, and we like to keep it 0-0 forever and not score goals. So, I've told the guys, I've said this, I think, numerous times. I think the MEAC and men's soccer is a strong conference. I think from top to bottom, you look at right now, Gallaudet hasn't won a match in MEAC play, and I think they maybe won 1 overall for the season. And yesterday they lost 2-1 to Lancaster Bible, and they had 2 very good chances and opportunities to score in the first half of the match. So you can't take anyone lightly. Lancaster Bible is one of the top teams. You'd think, okay, if they're playing a team that hasn't won, they're going to, take it to them. But a lot of games. SUNY Poly last night was double overtime, 22 seconds left over Cobleskill 1-0. So I think this league, and I think a lot of the coaches in the league are saying anybody can beat anybody. So for us, I've felt the same way that I did in the CAC. It's respect everybody, fear nobody, and take it one match at a time. I look at it as right now we have to worry about doing what we need to do to be successful to beat Gallaudet, and we'll worry about other people down the line. But I don't think we feel at all that we're superior to anybody. I think we have to be prepared, work hard, and get better every single day and trust in the process if we're going to have a chance to to meet our ultimate goals, which, as Coach Clay said, win the championship NCAA tournament. For me, we're not there yet. We need to make the playoffs. We need to secure enough points to be in the top 6 to make the playoffs. And from there, it's going to be, hey, can we hopefully get a high seed and host and all those things, but we're not even close to that yet. We haven't earned enough points yet to even make the playoffs. So, maybe he feels different. I don't feel that way. I think the men's league is so wide open right now.
Well, I know he likes to undersell, over-deliver, but separate to that, I would agree. I think men's sports in general, just because the athleticism, I think keeps things a little tighter. That sometimes you see a little bit more of a margin in the women's game. But for us,
9-0 was one of the games.
Yeah, but for us, it really is about coming in 100%. So no matter if we're playing Penn State Berks, Penn State Abington, Gallaudet, it doesn't matter. We've got to bring the same level of intensity, the same performance, game in, game out. And we're pretty honest, because we've also been, to your point in the other conference, where maybe we weren't quite the top dog. And we were that team getting really hyped up to play really good teams. I know for us, we played Newport better than if we could just play Newport like we played, or play everyone else like we played Newport the past 4 years, Our team would have been a third place seeded in the CAC the past few years. But we didn't have that consistency. But we were hyped up for Newport. Had a couple overtime games with them. I mean, when they were top 10 in the country type thing. And we're just trying to emphasize to our team that even because they look at the scores, we can't, it's not like we can just make it up and try to tell them, oh, you're playing the best team ever. And, they're able to look at the internet and see the scores. They know what's going on. They've seen some film, let alone what we show them. But even on their own, we've got some good systems for that. And I think the most important thing is just not, giving the example of like, hey, we've been that team. And we've played hard against really good teams and kept it competitive and even stole some results. And everybody that's playing us is coming in with that mentality that, hey, they're one of the good teams. So somebody maybe who's not even going to make the playoffs, you can make their season by, beating, one of the top 3 teams in the MEAC or whatever it might be. So I think just keeping them honest. And when in the end, great teams play everybody the same no matter who it is. And they just bring that level. And we're hoping to build towards that. But this year will be interesting along those lines because it is new to everybody and us trying to sell it as coaches as well. As much as I'm excited and it's steps, winning the MEAC championship, trip to NCAAs, and I know he has this belief, for myself, I'm here to win a national title. Yeah. So I think we're just trying to keep honest. And we've got to hit, I think there's a road to that. And I think, obviously making the tournament, winning your conference champion is a step to that. I do think it is nice to see the kids have that excitement, but we're trying to be very open and honest with them about and again, this year's goal is to make the championship, go to the NCAA tournament. But in the end, we want to win a national title. No matter how long I coach or where I coach, what level it's at, that's going to be the goal. It's just how it's supposed to be. So I think it's just being honest about even if we do this, there's another step. Until we really reach that pinnacle, we have room to grow. And try to keep them honest with that.
Success, it's definitely a lot more enjoyable, right? I don't think too many people go home losing 8-1 and saying, man, I had a great day today. What a fun day it was, you know what I mean? But our program, I felt like we've been building. The last few years been putting in building blocks to where we felt like, hey, we didn't see the MEAC thing coming, but we were trying to be prepared that, I felt like in another season or two, we were going to be competitive to win the CAC. And that was our ultimate goal. And I felt like we were taking steps and making strides and playing everybody. Last year, St. Mary's was 0-0. We lost in penalty kicks, and their team right now is top 25. Last I knew, I don't know if they lost yet. So they're a good side, and I think we were making steps in the right direction. So I think our team is pretty grounded. I think we know what our goals are, and ultimately I've been fortunate in my career. I've won a few conference championships and been in the NCAA tournament a bunch of times, and that is a great experience. But I think you have to build a team, with that in mind a little bit and that goal. And that's what we're trying to build towards as teams that I've talked to this, if you want to have success later, this is the type of team we have to be now. This is the process. This is where we have to go and what we have to do. And, I think we're making strides. We try, I tell the team when we're there that we don't do much talk about anything other than the next one. No. Right now, all of our conversations, our film is, discussions, whatever, chalk talks is about Gallaudet. What do we need to do to win that match? For me, I have utmost respect for what they do. They're, it's hard enough to be a student athlete collegiately as is, and I think they're overcoming additional challenges. And to be honest, they compete, man. I can't say in every sport. I got to watch some of the volleyball over the weekend. I thought they competed well. And I've watched them in men's soccer, and I think to date, they're 8-9 games in. I think they've been shut out once. And they got a kid who's one of the top goal scorers in the entire league. Johnson, number 10, he's a handful and a half for sure. And to be fair, they've got a talented group. They just lost yesterday 2-1 to Lancaster Bible, who's a very good team. So, I respect what they do. I respect what their school is all about. And the opportunities the school's providing them, but at the end of the day, they're not there just as a novelty or a side act. They're a competitive side. They're going to come and they're going to compete. You can't take them lightly. They've scored goals on everybody in the league that they've played. They scored goals against nationally ranked opponents like Salisbury and St. Mary's. So we know they're a highly capable team that can score goals. So we're prepared. We're going to have to be ultra organized. We're going to have to be aware of their key players. And, going forward, we're going to have to, play some good football to break them down because they stay organized in the back. They're fairly athletic. They compete. Their keepers come up big in moments for them this year. I thought yesterday did. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a big game, and we're excited for the We Are atmosphere because I think, hoping it's going to be a good-sized crowd, and we've drawn some pretty good crowds for some home games. I was at the Messiah game. I thought we had a ton of people there, and a couple of the other games, I thought even the home opener for conference play, I thought we had a pretty good turnout. Yesterday it was nice to see the baseball team and some of the guys. I thought they were pretty fun fans to have at the game, so we appreciate that. And I think We Are weekend's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be awesome, and the big thing for us is just staying focused on the game plan and not letting the surroundings or the uniqueness of the matchup to affect what we're really focused on, what we need to do.
Yeah, I would just say, I think Dan's point about the challenges that they have to overcome, it's just impressive what they do. What I've seen and been most impressed about all the Gallaudet teams, and again, I feel like I've seen them, for a few years. We were in the MEAC for a couple of years that I was there, and I think even just seeing them, even the non-conference occasionally playing them, they fight. I mean, they do not stop working. I don't think it matters what the score is. They've had competitive squads. They've had teams that have done really well. But across the board, you just see it's almost like there's a little bit of a chip on their shoulder as they play, and it's pretty cool. I think you really respect it, and to have some of the hearing issues, and we talk about communication on the field and how important it is, the difference it makes. And sometimes we talk about just telling someone they have time. They take a touch and they score the goal versus they just kick it, and they don't have those same advantages. So the fact that they have to overcome, what we think is such an important part of the game and still have, the level that they bring, I think is real special. And, and again, as much as we think, hey, we can maybe come out and I'm sure girls say, oh, well, they're 0-3. We beat Lancaster Bible by a goal, and they just played to them to a 2-0 game. And, from what I saw, Gallaudet had some decent chances to finish that ball. And I think with soccer, anything can happen. So if we're not focused or we take them lightly for whatever reason we think that we're going to beat them, and I think that's any team in the MEAC, we can find ourselves in trouble. And again, for us, whether we can still pull out a win that game, we're not going to be happy with our players if they're not bringing the effort. And fortunately, I will say, I think we have a pretty good bench. We've got girls that are waiting. So if the starters, so to speak, that game, don't bring that first level, they might find out the hard way. They're going to have to wait a little while for their next turn as we give somebody else a shot.
I know that my kids like to watch it, and this week I think Leo said it's not boring. She's going to enjoy it because
That's right,
we had
Leah.
Coach Clay on, and she happens to like him. I'm not sure why, but she does. So just want to say, if you're watching, Justice and Aaliyah and Amelia Rose, Jemiah, I love you guys, and hopefully you enjoy this in the game, and looking forward to your birthday this weekend, Jemiah, who's turning 8. So.
And I guess I'm not going to let him outmatch me on that. So Sophia, Austin, I love you both, and can't wait to see you guys at the game on Saturday. Honey, I love you too. Thanks for letting me be a coach.